Hi, it's Pam at South Shore Travel. I want to talk to you today about two things: travel insurance and hurricane season. Quite often, when clients are putting their trips together, they will say, well, why would I spend extra for travel insurance? If I had to cancel, surely they would understand and would refund my money. Sometimes they might, sometimes they won't. It depends on lots of the details of the trip. As you get closer and closer to your travel date, generally more and more of what you've purchased will be non-refundable. There will be cancellation penalties. And sometimes people think, oh, it's only about canceling. It's not just about canceling. There are, for instance, if you go online to purchase just a flight ticket, let's say you go to united.com or something like that, as you get ready to check out, there'll be a little checkbox where you can say, yes, I would like to have this insurance, to cover this trip. Well, sometimes people think, oh, I don't need travel insurance because I checked that little box when I did my flights. If we're doing the rest of the trip and you did your own flights, that is only to cover just if you had to cancel that particular flight. And there's a lot more that can come into play if you had an emergency. There are things such as, let's say you had an emergency and you needed to cancel your trip. Well, there are coverages for canceling for medical reasons, and it has to be a medical reason. You have to have a note from your doctor that either you cannot travel, or if it's perhaps a family member you care for, then you would need a notification that they're not okay for you to leave town. So there are coverages like that. There are also coverages for cancellation where you can cancel for any reason. And sometimes those are very good to have. They cost a little bit more, but it can really help you if it's a situation that may arise that is not a medical emergency. Now, travel insurance, we are very careful to recommend what we think works for you, and also to show you the details so you'll know exactly what's covered. There are situations where if you had an emergency during travel, well, then it's not so much a cancellation as a trip interruption. And perhaps it's a situation where you need medical assistance, you need to be airlifted home, maybe your traveling companion or family member, they're the one with the emergency and you want to be with them. Those are important things to know that can be covered, to know that those can be covered with lots of the policies that we recommend. And there are some policies where you can pay a little extra so that you could say, here's the hospital I want to go to if you needed hospital care. There are also coverages for if something goes wrong back home and with an immediate family member and you need to go home and tend to them. That can be covered as well. So there's a lot that can be covered with travel insurance. So let's be sure and talk about that when we're talking about a trip for you. Now, the other one is hurricane season. We live here on the Texas coast. We are very well aware of hurricane season. For those of you that do not know, hurricane season officially goes from June 1st through November 30th. But of course, anything can happen at any time. But hurricane season does not mean that you can't travel to the Caribbean. I've been there many times during hurricane season. You just need to be aware. And we might need to have coverage that would be a cancel for any reason. If you see something that's heading towards your island and you're a little nervous about it and you say, I'm going to blow this off, then you would be covered. It's not just hurricanes, but tropical storms can be an issue here on the Gulf Coast. This year we've had a lot of rain, and it's raining today. And if it continues to rain, it will flood. And so just a tropical storm or tropical depression can impact an area. Also, if you live here on the Gulf Coast or somewhere else affected by hurricanes, we might want to cover you for a cancel for any reason, because let's say a storm came through today and blew my roof off. Tomorrow, I would probably not want to leave town on a big trip. And so many of the policies say we will cover you if the island you're going to is affected by a hurricane, but they don't really say if your home is affected by a hurricane, because they aren't assuming that you're living in a hurricane-prone area. So there's just lots of details. So I like to have people be aware of hurricane season. It's a great time to travel. Generally, the island that you're going to, it's very unlikely it's going to be directly affected, but you like to have coverage in case that were going to happen. So I just like for you to be educated. I want you to be taken care of so that you can leave home with great peace of mind. Your family can feel good about you going on your trip. I can feel good about having people locally that help you. That's another thing with the travel insurances. They have staff on the ground to help you much quicker than I can. So anyway, let's be sure and talk about travel insurance. And I hope nobody ever needs to use it, but it is really a very good thing, and I want to be sure you know about it. Take care. Bye.